Have you ever felt like you couldn't get enough information to make a decision? It's just impossible to collect enough to really know? Or perhaps you felt the opposite. Perhaps you've felt that you had so much information that it became overwhelming and there was just no way to really understand what was going on and to really know what to do. The problem with knowledge and thought is that it's only one way of seeing the world. It's very, very good at really like deterministic stuff and really factual stuff, but it isn't so good at dealing with really complex problems. And so much of the stuff we have to deal with at work and in the rest of our lives is complex. Anything that involves people and emotions and feelings is usually going to be really complex and have these difficult interactions that we can't quite fathom out in a logical, rational way. And we're trained to just use this thought and knowledge to be able to understand the world. The way that you can tackle this is to bring in intuition as well. Intuition's a lot softer. It's about how we feel and it's about complexity. It doesn't give you really neat deterministic answers, but when used alongside knowledge, that's when both become really, really powerful. You can think of it like having a map and having a compass. If knowledge is the map, it gives you a model of where things are. It gives you an idea of the relationship between things. But it is only a model. It doesn't really tell you where you are, and it has all sorts of approximations, and maybe things have changed since the map was written. What the compass does, and this is your intuition, is it orients you within the map. It gives you a constant guide to the direction that you're going. It doesn't tell you anything very specific, but it tells you where you are headed. And when used together, a map and a compass let you locate yourself exactly where you are and give you an idea of where you want to head next. So, because we're often trained just to use knowledge, that cultivating your intuition and connecting with your intuition is perhaps the most powerful thing you can do to build this skill. And intuition is embodied, it's felt, it's about feeling in the body. So anything you can do to hook up to this is going to help you develop your intuition and help you deepen that relationship. So that might be yoga, that might be running, that might be lifting, that might be dance, that might be music. Whatever it is for you, whatever it is that you do whilst you're present to your body and how it feels. And this is a practice. This is something that you develop. Over time, by doing this, by being present, you'll strengthen the links. You'll actually build new neurons neural interconnections between neurons in the brain so that you're more connected to what's going on in your body. That means when you have a challenge, when something comes up for you, you're that much more ready to be able to respond in an effective way using both knowledge and intuition. So you'll have what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your brain, and what's going in your body available to you to process everything that's going on and come out with a really, really good response. And one of the challenges to this stuff, one of the reasons that people do end up kind of just in their heads rather than in their bodies as well, is that sometimes there are difficult feelings stored there. Sometimes we don't like what we feel, what our intuition tells us, and then we can just retreat into thought, retreat into our heads. So as you're exploring your intuition and your body, go gently. Be with the feelings that come up and treat them as having good intentions. They might be wrong, they might be really out of date, but treat them as something that wants the best for you and all of you. It's doing its job. Just welcome it as that part of you, as something that sits alongside the thinking mind. The aim is to get everything working smoothly together so that there isn't any kind of resistance, there aren't any big problems with either, so that you're comfortable using thought when it's appropriate and that you're comfortable using intuition when it's appropriate. There's a great study I love on chess masters where they looked at how chess masters were actually working out how to make the next move. And you think chess is the most logical thing possible, right? It's all logic. It's all about what happens next and strategy. However, what they found when they were looking at the micro expressions, the small tells of emotional processing that we all show whilst we're thinking things through, is that what the chess masters were doing was that they were using their emotional processing to cope with the huge complexity of ideas, of possible strategies and possible moves that they could make, and to narrow those down. And only once they'd narrowed them down did they start doing that kind of thought processing, that conscious mind processing. Now, that gives you a really good idea of how you can use this. If you can connect with the complexity and all of the stuff going on, and then send it back to your mind and think it through, and then check it back against intuition, you've got this beautiful growth cycle where you'll get clearer and clearer and you'll be able to engage with what's going on really, really effectively. So do let me know how you get on with this in the comments, and particularly any strategies that you use, any practices that you have for developing your own sense of embodiment. Also, please do tag anyone you think who would benefit from seeing this video. Thank you.